Hey, everybody, welcome to United Motivation. I have Chelle here. She has a story. You understand that every one of us have a struggle in life. We struggle with just sometimes even the littlest things. Personally, Chelle has a story that she wants to tell to you guys that lets you know that she is struggling, but she has gotten over it. So, Chelle, tell us your story. A little bit about yourself, the whole nine yards.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for inviting me on the podcast, and I'm happy to be here.
You're
I
welcome.
think my story will be relatable to a lot of people, as I was born not the healthiest child. Didn't have much chance of even leaving the hospital. I've struggled with being sick and depressed all of my life, from diabetes to epilepsy to degenerative joint disease. You name it, I've been unlucky enough to have it. Um, Functional neurological disorder. I tick sometimes. Like literally, I am that 1%.
Jeez.
uh,
Definitely just not getting a break.
no, I really do. But it is shaped me and molded me into the person I am. So I honestly, a lot of people say it, but I actually mean it. I wouldn't trade any of the things I had to go through to get here, because it's made me who I am. And it's made me tough. It's made me strong, and it's made
Yeah.
me resilient. So yeah.
So, so I mean, when you were born, when they do all the types of testing and stuff like that, did they find anything in the very beginning that they could catch?
I was born premature, so I was
Okay.
almost 5 weeks early. Came out 3 pounds 2 ounces. I was fine, other than being born early. The
Yeah.
thing that really messed me up is one of the doctors gave me a wrong medication and caused me to have seizures, um, which is the reason why I stayed in the hospital for 3 months after my birth. Unfortunately, it wasn't something that I grew out of. It wasn't something that went away. Because of how young I was, it left a permanent imprint. So I still suffer from seizures to this day.
If it wasn't for the doctor, everything would be okay then. All right.
Seizure wise, yes. I don't know about the rest of it. The rest of it, I think, would have happened regardless. So, I hold no ill will towards him at all. He did what he thought was best.
Yeah.
You
And that's understandable. So, with all your other conditions, are they genetic or just they
Um,
seem like they may be that?
yeah, most of them are genetic. My family has a history of different types of cancers. My mom was a diabetic. My uncle was a diabetic. I just had the misfortune of being born into a family who has a lot of issues, but I'm blessed to say my kids don't have those issues. So
Yeah.
maybe we're breaking the generational curse. I hope so.
Yeah, that definitely.
Yes.
So for the audience, what is your struggle and like with I know you have your medical issues, but when it comes down to those medical issues, what is the biggest struggle, especially with family and friends and just your social life in general?
Actually having a social life,
Oh,
because all of my issues kind of make me very wary of the people I hang around.
mhm.
Just like I said, for those who don't know, functional neurological disorder causes you to sometimes tick when you're in stressful situation. Your full body spasms. It's nothing that I can control. If I feel overwhelmed or too many people around me, or if I'm stressed out, I will jerk. I will tick. Some people don't know how to handle that, so it makes them nervous,
Yeah.
and they begin to act on that nervousness, which makes my tics worse because I can pick up on them kind of being scared of me, you know?
Mhm.
So I'm starting to try to put myself back out there more. Um, Started using TikTok to do that because I find a lot of people relate to my issues and being scared of being around people. Because these days you know, you never know what type of people you're around, and
Yes.
it's scary.
Yeah, especially with social media. I mean, I crashed into a lot of people. It's like, well, I can't even do lives without somebody reporting me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it is what it is. But for you getting outside your comfort zone, which is my biggest thing is I have plenty of videos that go into that is you have to get outside of your comfort zone or you will never grow. Like with
Exactly.
you, your social life, that that's where you got yourself so caught up that I don't
Mhm.
want to do it. But now you're actually doing it, which is the most amazing thing that you're getting out there. And by the way, guys, go ahead and check out her videos. They're very inspirational. They they make you feel like somebody's there. I mean, a lot of our problems is that we don't have those people out there that are actually there for you. But this lady here, Chelle, she definitely makes you feel like there's somebody out there that is willing to listen to you.
Yes, always. And that's my goal is I spent so much time solitary, even with my family. And I have a wonderful husband who is very supportive. But even then, when you're trapped in your own head, it doesn't matter how many people are around you, you still feel isolated and you still feel alone. And
Mhm.
that's what I talk about a lot is that you're not alone. You know, I don't know you, you don't know me. We may not be besties, but there's somebody always willing to listen. And all you got to do is send me a message. You know, just last night I prayed with a lady who I don't know. She just came across one of my videos and asked me if I pray with her. And I'm a woman of my
That's
word. I
awesome.
told you I would, so I would. And that's what we did. We prayed and talked about her family and what was going on in her head. And if I helped her, you know, stop her from doing what she was telling me she was planning to do, then I feel better. That's my whole purpose. That's my whole purpose.
So, so what do you actually have a name for your channel or what you're doing? Because you gave me a link, but I'm trying to put a name to it so the audience can look into it.
My YouTube channel is called Manson Freakism. My children made that. Don't judge me too harshly. They made it for me because my Shell Positive channel that I have, which is my name over pretty much all of my platforms, was hacked and some very gross stuff was put up on there. So
Yeah.
I couldn't use that name on there anymore. And they thought that Manson would stand out because I am a Marilyn Manson fan. I'll admit it. So
Hey, I will admit it too.
I'll admit it. I'm not ashamed of it. That's another thing I talk about. Embrace every part of you. You can be multiple things. You don't have to
Yeah.
be one thing. Like I am a Christian. I love the Lord. I am also a pastor and a preacher. But I don't have to be just that. I can also be a music fan and love different genres of
Yeah.
music without it letting me run my life. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to define who I am. And if I can
No.
get a lot of people to understand you could be more than one thing, that would be great.
Uh, I was reading a book. Not a book, it was a YouTube video about personal branding. And you brought
Mhm.
up about bringing out yourself in all different types of different ways. It's kind of like Mr. Potato Head. She was mentioning that Mr. Potato Head has so many different parts and we can play so many different rules. So for what you do with the Marilyn Manson music, now you're pulling out the gothic makeup and
Yes,
doing that whole 9 yards, which is nothing wrong with it. I mean, we should be able to express ourselves any way we finally want to.
yes. I completely agree with that. And that's one thing I tell my parishioners when we're at church, you know, when you see me out and about, I am still Pastor Eisworth. I'm still Minister Eisworth. You can come talk to me about Jesus, but what I'm not going to do is judge you for living your life because you're human
Yeah,
and you have the right to do that. So in return, I ask that you don't judge me if you hear me going down the road playing what you consider to be worldly music. I don't listen to the cursing. I do listen to the edited versions, but I do listen to it. So don't go, oh, I heard you listening to Marilyn. Yes, you did, ma'am. And if you come to my house, you'll hear me listening to it too. But I try to present all sides of me because I'm a flawed human being. And I think people need to understand that there's no perfect person. So, you know,
yeah. So it's a lot of people. You're expressing in a lot is a lot of people just you have to be a person. I mean, we're on this earth. Um, I'm not a Christian, but I'm Jewish. So there's a little bit of difference besides whatever. But
Yeah,
I was taught not to judge people,
right.
especially if they're different. And my background is a little bit different, but it you just don't. Right?
Right. Absolutely. Because when you start judging people, you put them on an impossible pedestal that they will never be able to live up to. I will never be able to live up what your ideals of me is supposed to be. I can only do the best that I can do. And in return, I'm not going to force my ideals on you because you'll never be able to live up what I have in my head. So, if we can just agree to disagree and come together and say, you be you and let me be me, at the end of the day, we'll be fine. You know,
And,
no, it's water under the bridge.
social media is a breeding ground for that.
It,
And I
it,
mean, I don't try to get into the drama and all that stuff. I mean, I speak my few cents and then I walk away from it. If you don't like it,
yes.
it's a lot of people have to accept the fact that some people just don't really, whenever you're going to say something, they're not going to
Hmm.
really going to care what you're going to say or what you have said.
Right.
But
Everybody is going, there is nobody that's going to agree with you 100% of the time. It's
no,
always going to be that one person that you could be talking directly to them and it relates in every respect to their life. And they're still going to find something to disagree with you about
yeah,
because that's just who they are. And if you suck it up and move on, great. It's when you start taking their words to heart and trying to change who you are to suit what they think that the problems lie because you have to be honest to yourself. And if you're not doing yourself a service. You're locking yourself in a box is what I tell my kids. Never lock yourself in a box. Be you, the most authentic version of you you can be.
yes, you're very much true on there. I have quite a few followers that are in the teenager age range and stuff like that. And that's definitely something they need to take. And I understand with parenting, it's the most hardest thing in the world. You can you can do whatever. I got 5 kids. And parents have to understand that kids are going to experiment with that
Mm-hmm.
and let them be who they want to be. And you said it pretty well there is don't box yourself in. You said real well. And so it's I don't know. That would be advice for the teenage kids. So when it comes down to all of it, you know the channel's United Motivation. So what is your motivational quote? What do you want to give out to the world for them not to grasp onto?
If there's anything anyone takes away from this today, I would like to say, you got to keep trying. You got to keep pushing, even when you don't feel like trying anymore. You just got to keep going because life is going to throw things at you, unexpected, some expected. It's not always going to be easy. No one ever said it was going to be. But when you refuse to give up and you keep pushing and you keep fighting and you finally get to your breakthrough, you'd be like, wow, I did this. I made it. Like, this
Yeah,
is my reward for pushing. But if you give up, you never know. The minute you give up, you could have been right there at the one thing that was going to get you to the other side, but you quit too soon. And, sometimes, hey, if you got to reach out to a buddy to say, hey, can you help pull me up, please? Don't be ashamed to do that. That's another thing I stress to my children too. Don't be afraid to ask for help. There are people out there who will selflessly. There's a difference between selfishly doing it for a reason or for a reward. They will selflessly, no gratitude, no thanks, you need it, help you get where you want to go. Simply because we're not all about ourselves. We want to see each other expand and be the best versions of ourselves we can be. And that's what my whole platform is about. Like, I help you, you help me, then you go pay it forward and help somebody else. Like, let's help each other. Times are hard. Why do it by yourself? Let's lend each other a hand. So just keep pushing. You can do this. You got this. End of my video every time. You got this. And if nobody ever told you today, I'm proud of you for making it this far. And I mean it.
It that's a very, very good message. It very inspiring, especially the teamwork concept. And I have noticed that there's virtually no teamwork anymore.
No,
And that's what people need to do. I mean, your message tells those people, come on, you got to get real. I mean, if you can't do everything by yourself. So
yeah,
even Jesus couldn't do everything by himself. I mean, he had his 12 disciples. So come on, if they have to understand. I don't know. I
right,
can't express it much more,
right,
but
right. It's a hard thing to express because everybody's been so hurt lately, and I understand that. It's trying to get through a lot of garbage and a lot of crap. Some people just don't want to hear it because they don't believe it.
yeah.
But even if you run into that person who don't believe it, my motto is keep saying it until they believe in the best versions of themselves, like you believe in the best version of them. You
Mhm.
know, just
Yeah.
keep telling them, you got this, you can do it, until they be like, wow, maybe I can do it. Let me try. And that's how I live my life.
So, what inspired you to do what you do now?
My inspiration would be my mother because she was a fighter and she fought all 56 years of her life as hard as she could. She
Mhm.
went to school for 14 years um, after I graduated school to learn how to make computers and programs for computers. And then she got bored and learned something else and then learned something else. And I was like, Mom, you're outdoing me. You can stop now. But she's like, no. She said, if you don't use your brain, you lose it. So that's what she
Yeah.
did right up until the good Lord took her from cancer. She would stayed in school and always expanded her knowledge. And she was so caring and would open her door to anybody. You need food? Come on in here. Let's eat. Let's break bread together. I don't care where you come from. Let's eat. Just don't disrespect her house. She was real
Yeah.
big on that. Don't disrespect her house. And it carried over with me. And I see the influence that she made by all the people that was there when she passed. There was no sitting room. There was people outside the door. And when I asked them what would they hear, they said, because she showed me love when my own family didn't show me love. And that hit hard. That is something that I think a lot of people crave, just to say I love you, because they don't get it at home. And so that's what I want to do. I want to be the best example of who she was and continue that even with my children so that when I pass, they're still showing love. You know, love is going out of style these days. Everybody is for themselves. That's
They
just the way.
they call our society now disposable. I mean, we're all replaceable. And
Yeah,
which is unfortunate because family isn't. I know for me, I don't I don't understand. I mean,
right.
all right, well, yeah, I appreciate it that you were on here. Uh, so guys, you
Anytime.
got
I said anytime I enjoyed it
oh yeah.
tremendously.
So guys, really subscribe. She's on TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, the whole. I mean, I think she's everywhere. So
Mm-hmm.
the link down below, I'm going to put her, or I'm going to put a link down below with all her information. Go ahead and hit her up. Go ahead and follow her. Show her some love. Appreciate some of the things she actually does say. So I really do appreciate Chelle, and I will see you on the other side. Probably on my phone.
Thank you. I love you
You're welcome.
guys. Be good people.